I don't know language, but I don't know how to say it back. Let's say Wagwan back. Six.
What's up?
You got it. So,
Hey, from Jamaica, man. Hey, what's up? Sultan. We're talking about what's an IMC base today. That's great, man. Hopefully, these guys are interested in what is an IMC Nation base. What's IMC Nation? We got to define all these things. What's a base? What's an IMC base? So yeah, real quick. I mean, a base guys live together. IMC Nation, these are particular kind of guys. IMC Nation also includes women, but we're not really referring about that. We're not talking about female bases and this and that. That's each man's right. The woman that, he's with that man has determinism over that by her will and her choice. So it's her consent that she consents over control. Very controlling men, but by consent of the woman, which other men, they just don't even have the value that a woman would want to consent. And he said, shit, she would ruin her life if she consented to those dumbasses. So we got wisdom there. And these guys that study this wisdom of game, of psychology, of personal development, of warrior, urban, monk, creatives, guys who apply their imagination as good as any in the law of attraction, secret, the master key system, think and grow rich, that in that lineage, these guys. And then they base up a base of multiple guys living together. And Sultan and myself, we are in base one with AZD, the founder of the IMC Nation movement, who you guys follow this account because of the clips, the guy, Sultan, share, and you guys feel the power there. And that's why you're on these streams. We, as messengers who live with AZD and have felt the lifestyle and how it's changed us, and, how effortlessly our game improves just being around AZD and how he lives, multiple relationships with the most beautiful women, and just as like Big Bro, and we learned from Big. A lot of us didn't have Big Bro that showed us game and this and that. So that's what we're here talking about. Open to any questions. I'm also streaming on the YouTubes and through the Zoom. So I'm on this other camera. You guys don't see Sultan, but that's who you hear. So if you guys got questions, you can type it out. I'll see those. And well, have you brought up the base idea of the base to the guy? All this new guys. This is on an account that has blown up, so it's 15K now. Like 3 weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks ago, it was at 500 or less, 200. So all these new guys in your communications with them, has the base come up? And when you bring it up, do they have any further questions, or where is your audience at? The ones that you've communicated with, where are they at in awareness on this?
no, maybe I've mentioned it a few times, but maybe once, maybe twice, but yeah, about once, so not very much. This is a newer topic for them.
And you picked it because I was going to pick the other thing, the 5 things that AZD teaches: godlike confidence, laser like focus, this and that. And I thought it would be rich. We could talk forever about that stuff. And then when you said, what is an IMC base? I was like, just like AZD's text right now, beautiful. Like, that's a good idea. But, as we introduce the topic right now, I'm so excited about it. I don't think other people are excited about it. I don't know if they should be. Man, that you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a cultural invention, a revolution that, I was hanging out with this hippie bitch last night. She wants to start this revolution with me. She's crazy. But uh man, talk about just like being culturally conditioned one way, but the body is saying yes, but the mind is saying no. Like, she's just all about me, but culture, we're so different. And we'll see if I tame that. I can be non-needy because I got 3 other girls, plus other girls, really, and I'm about to move to Vegas, so the options are so big that, like, non-attachment to any girl, it's just so obvious. And but what I'm saying is, like, this base idea of guys living together, like, anybody out there, there's 9 people watching there, there's a bunch of people watching over here. Like, in all of our experience, we're a small mastermind right now, like 12 of us masterminding. Do we know any situations of guys living together? We could talk about the advantages and disadvantages, but what examples would there be of guys, adult males, 18 or over, living together? Dorms, maybe?
People that just can't, living in the Bay Area, California, and there's rent is expensive, so they're probably rooming up with just strangers.
Housing up with strangers, put an ad out for, maybe fraternities in college. Maybe the big house they live together, you know. Maybe here's a good one. It's actually a good one. Would be like sometimes I've heard of entrepreneurial ventures where like 3 or 5 guys they like go in they start a startup or something and they kind of live together. That's cool. That's a mastermind effect. That's now those guys are typically like are they the players? Are they good with women? Are they warrior fighters? Are they dangerous or are they just intellectuals, creatives? You know, writers will do that. They'll go isolate themselves. I don't know if they do that with multiple people. Uh, you know, and those two things, like, are they really protectors, and are they uh able to protect, and are they good with women? Can they attract women? And if they can't, then that's like a whole different, like, I don't know, other instances like firefighters maybe house together, maybe military guys, you know, when they're at war, when they're at training, but then when they come home, they go and live with their wives. They don't continue living with each other. And the ones that did, you would know they would be the strongest band of brothers. But that wouldn't happen. There'd be we would look at them like everybody maybe looks at us living in bases and be like, it's weird, man. You're an adult male. Like, why are you living together? You look at the military guys like, dude, you're not at war. Why are you pretending like you're at war still? And that's where you got to come in with, do they get women? Because I get it. It's weird if they don't get women and they're just, what are they doing? Why are they doing? But if it's a bunch of players that get women that are living together, that are warriors, man, now add what we do. We're prolific expression. We keep putting out what we're doing. We're not hidden. We're not the secret society of pickup artists. We're not the Green Beret, you know, secret service, whatever. We're the Green Beret secret service, secret society of pickup artists, and here's everything about it. You know, it's like, oh man, man, what an advantage, you know. But that's a revolution because that's, you know, it's already rare guys living together, and those are all I could see people have like it may not be desirable to be that. You don't want to like maybe die at war like that. You don't want to live with a bunch of dorks. But so it's a bunch of like failed operations of guys living together. So the better option is guys settle living with a girl. At least they have a warm squeeze at night for at least a few years before she totally like isolates from them. And that seems like a better, or live with the parents where at least you have a warm hot meal at night and they maybe give you some privacy. You get your own room somewhere. And like that's a better option than living. But really, look at that. Like that's because the guys you know are so pathetic. The life you could envision living in a house with them is so pathetic. That's not what we got. We got a model agency. We fight together. We go out together. We make money together. We grow. Go on vacation. Man, not even vacations. We go on trips. So that's an IMC base, bro. Uh, you know, and Sultan is 20. Yeah, yeah.
You said about, you know, when you live with roommates, you know, I look at roommates and I look at housemates, like those two separate things. Like roommates, kind of just find on Craigslist and you go live with them and you don't really know them. They're just like some random person you barely see, or you know, you talk to them frequently, but there's always like this weird, awkward vibe around them because you don't really know the guy, you don't know how to interact with something, you don't even know because that's the thing. Like guys are trying to interact and get better with women, which is great, but you can't even interact with another guy. Like you can't even interact with another guy like on a just a like on a like. Because obviously you're not trying to have a deep connection with the guy. I'm not talking like that. I mean, like you can't even interact with the guy like just like as a dude. Like you can't even interact. Like it's awkward. It's like rigid. It feels like there's just some weird thing in the conversation that you can't like figure out. It's like why is it so weird? It's like yeah, because you don't know how to interact with him, and he definitely doesn't know how to interact with you. You know, unless he's like getting a lot of chicks, and you know he's been unless he's studied in this art that he teaches, then yeah, he's going to be easy to interact with. Even if you suck, he's so good that he's going to be able to kind of just call you and baby you because you're so, you're so. It's so boring to you to interact with another man. So because many majority of guys are just at home playing video games, drinking beer alone, like talking to people online, like
Yeah, an interaction, you know, in a way that brings about like affinity or closeness, like where the guy likes you, likes to want to hang out with you, looks forward to it. Guys, they interact. Maybe guys, the audience, they may be like, I know how to interact, but like, can you make a new individual respect you? and want to hang out with you and enjoy spend and invite you to things. And how strong is that man? Huh? Yeah, and I mean, living with you is like just like a level. That's a lot of closeness, a lot of affinity. Like, that's why guys in IMC Nation, they have such affinity. You could be in Europe and New Zealand, and you would be closer than the guy just right next door because the philosophies and ideas that are sounds so airy fairy to say close to your heart, but they're real close to your core, where it's like your core beliefs you share in common with these other guys. IMC among in addition to being a warrior and a player, are philosophers. And philosophy is no joke. Philosophy is not like for pussies. That's not like philosophy is finding the higher ways of living, the better ways of living, than actually doing it. And it's difficult because there's a lot of resistance from the world. That being, when you know right from wrong, when you've inspected philosophy and you see the better way of being, it's not easy just because seeing the truth is easy, but then living the truth is not. And you'll feel like a piece of shit if you know the truth and don't live it. So people give up on philosophy. They're failed philosophers. They're the philosophy of failure. Hey, that's a good one. People are walking and living and talking their philosophy of failure, thinking they're philosophers. They are. You're a philosopher of failure. And so what are our stats? Well, one, which is very hard for people to measure, just like AZD said, you can't measure the difficulty in a 5-minute monologue until you try to memorize something. And the difficulty of getting along and living with each other for 3.5 years, given that one amongst us is world champ at what he does. That's a lot of admiration, attention, and women that goes towards one guy, and then the other guy's living with them. It would be a problem for guys out there. But the orderliness that we have for multiple years now, we're moving, is just, that's hard for people to measure, but that's a stat. That's a stat, but they can't measure the stat because it's hard. It's an invisible stat, but it's like confidence. Like, you can't see it, you see it expressed, and you can tell when someone's confident. But what if everybody was standing like a lineup at the police station? How could you tell who was more confident? Maybe to a subtle perceiver, he could tell from how he's standing or how he's holding his face, maybe. But really, it's in the person's action that it would be obvious to everybody. So people would be on the outside looking at a base and being like, maybe if they're more wise to measure, they would be like, on paper, 3.5 years living together, okay, that's pretty good. But until they see how we move as a base, how we go around town, how we do business with each other, how we are in the living room, in the kitchen with each other, then they'll be like, oh shit, this is like, man. And that's what people get when they do residency. That's why we give the testimonies of that, and that's a base. Man, we set the example because we have AZD. And it all comes from how AZD lives. He lived with 6 girlfriends at a time, and then he had other girlfriends, but those were his main girls. Broke up with 1 or 2, lived with them a few years, then moved out, lived on his own. The girls lived with each other, and he had other girls, but those were like the main core. And he lived on his own, and that's when Sultan and I, we were coming for boot camps here around in San Jose. Then COVID, whatever, lockdown happens. Few of us move here, we decide we're going to base up, we find a house, we move in together, and then during lockdown, we calisthenics, we wake early, we cold shower, discipline, we study philosophy because everything's locked down. We have online business, so we expand. We triple our income during lockdown when everybody else is depending on the government because we have philosophy. And people, when they didn't have anything to do, that's when they realized how weak their minds were. Or they didn't realize it, but we helped them realize that, dude, you're suffering because you're chit-chatting with yourself, you're docile, you're stagnant, you're not growing, you depended on the outside to have something to do. And so we taught that monk life. 4 years, getting strippers, getting models, multiple relationships, no beds for 4 years. Now we're moving to Vegas for the player lifestyle, and you all get to witness this on the AZD IMC Nation account. We're messengers of this, and we're just students. We live at the top player in the planet. We are players, but recognize there's levels here. Sultan's 27. I'm 37. AZD's about to turn 47. There's levels of this. Let's watch Sultan when he's 47. If he sticks at this, it's going to be unreal. He'll be the best of all of us. But then look out for Aaron Luna and Raphael and whoever. And it actually doesn't depend on age. It's dedication. It's not how long you've been on the path. It's that you're on the path now, is the saying. So I don't want to, man, I get swept up in like, just like loving to talk about this, but this is your audience, man. I don't want to just like take your audience. You know what I'm saying? So like, bases. Now tell these new up and coming what do you call them? Newbies, basically, that just getting exposed to this. Tell them about all of our bases.
Yeah, we also have a question. I don't know if you
Oh,
know that.
yeah, if it's relevant, sure. Well, what is it? Let's hear it.
So what if you commit domestic violence and you want to bounce back?
Well, you need to, get your shit together. It's all the things that you got to handle whatever's happening legally. You got to not be weak about it. So, there's maybe if there's an apology in order, but you don't have to stay apologetic. You make amends, and if they don't accept amends, then they don't accept amends. You realize that probably your domestic violence was with a woman and she was probably emotionally manipulative. You're fucking ruining your life because you have beta ass game. That means you're living with the girl, you're supplicating to the girl, you're chasing the girl. You need the girl, so you need to get the fuck out of that condition. That's a permanent solution to that. And that you got to handle what's the due consequences of whatever it is, and then you got to improve your condition out of that so that shit doesn't happen. That means learn game, and game is not just how to pick up a girl. Game is how to live with the girl, not live with her, but how to live having a girl or women, how to lead your own life. And there's so much involved in that, in your own character and discipline and purpose in life, that it's way more than just about the women. So that's what AZD teaches. There's an open class tomorrow, everybody, 10 a.m. Open class, Zoom, 10 a.m. Pacific. And you can attend if you DM the account, then we can send you the link. But we don't stream it publicly. It's on Zoom because AZD has to see your face, so he knows who he's talking to. So it's not women. There's no women and children. So he has to see who you are, so he knows you're not a woman or a child. And that's just what it is. So, yeah, what's brother's? Oh, is that his question? Yeah. So, yeah, what about the IMC bases? We got other bases. This is base one. Then the story continues, Sultan.
Yeah, we got base two. Obviously, base one is where we live with ACD. Base two is about 20 minutes from here. Another part is San Jose. And then base three is in Fullerton, Orange County. Base four is Las Vegas. Base five, Phoenix, Arizona. Base six, also in Orange County. Base seven, Las Vegas. And base eight, soon to be in Las Vegas as well. So all the bases that are not in Las Vegas, which is this base two, so base one, base two, base three, and base five, are all moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So
that's 8 bases in Vegas, about to be within a month. 8 bases in Vegas.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that are kind of lone wolf right now, living alone with their parents that are also moving, migrating to Vegas, and there's going to be a lot more. There's gonna be people that need a place to stay, so they're probably gonna get a base. So there'll probably be at least a few more bases in the next few months in Vegas. So
and guys that are going to want to base up too, and they're just not going to be qualified. What makes a person qualified to be in a base, Sultan?
Well, they gotta first be on the daily program. The AZE Mastermind University is what we've been talking about.
That's good to know. Yeah.
That's what you mentioned, the free class tomorrow. Open class, free class, whatever you want to call it. It's 10 a.m. Pacific time. And it's an hour 15 minutes long. It's on Zoom. If you'd like to attend, just DM this account. And I'll send you the link.
But why? Why is the open? Is this just a sales gimmick, or why is the daily class with AZD a prerequisite requirement to live in a base?
Well, there's many reasons. I would say the first reason is, guys like this. Because some people will probably think this is like a frat house, and we're all like frat house, drinking, partying, getting drunk.
That's the example. That's the only example they have of guys living together.
Yeah, that's the example that guys have when you think like, oh, we're gonna room up or get a spot together. You think drinking, getting chicks, staying out late, being sloppy, fucking sleeping all day. Like that's not what it is. So there's a method. I like what Mystery said. The method to the madness. There's a method to the madness, and you get the mindset, the philosophy, and the character by attending the morning classes. Doesn't mean everyone's like that way. Like you gotta be that way, you gotta be that way, you gotta be that way. You're just fucking out of here. No, that's not what it is. Yeah, it is in a sense, because if you're getting drunk and being lazy and sleeping all day, then yeah, get the fuck out. Like you don't want to hang out with some guy that's being drunk and sloppy all day, because that's gonna rub off on everybody else. And why would we even have a guy like that living in a base? Like imagine you're living with some other guys. Right?
Liability, man. Liability.
Yeah. Sloppy and sleeping all day, and like the house gets robbed or something. That motherfucker that's sleeping, let's say everyone's out of the house, it's just him at the house. He didn't even know the house got robbed because he was sleeping, he was knocked out or whatever, drinking with some chick. So, if I'm in battle, I don't want a guy like that with me around. Because what if I'm out in the street and someone presses me and we get into a fight? Then that guy is gonna be, probably looking at some chick or like drinking, and he's not gonna be even aware that I'm about to get into a fight for some reason, and he's not even gonna have my back. And he probably didn't know how to fight. That's another thing. So the class, the daily program, Mastermind University gives you the mindset and you could say the etiquette of living this lifestyle.
And it's not with us. We're not the teachers. We here are messengers. So when we're saying the daily class, we're not saying sign up with us. We don't got shit that we're just here doing our thing, helping AZD grow this thing because it's the right thing to do. Like that's part of it. If you find the right way to live, the right way to have relationships, the right way to get along with your family, with guys, with girls, with dogs, with trees, man, it's better than anybody who's ever studied anything about communication. If you learned like one or two things, did it not improve your like right away? Like you can feel communication improvement when you learn how to greet someone or how to say thank you. Like it's just the littlest thing, how to give the right gesture at the right time. If you learn one thing and you feel the benefit of that, just imagine having a whole education on that. Like especially with seduction and relationships with women, which is where everyone is failing. Everyone, look around, all the guys, like so. Yeah, and more than what like Sultan brought up fighting, and if you don't even know how to fight, there are guys that didn't know how to fight. A lot of guys don't know how to fight, and then there's levels. So the willingness, like we hire for attitude, not for what you already know. Because if you know everything but you have a shitty attitude, we don't want you. So if you really want we want guys that want awareness. Like I was telling the girl, I don't use Snapchat. She wanted Snapchat because she liked the filter. She's like, do you have Snapchat? I was like, I don't have Snapchat. What? And I was like, I like to remember my life. I'm not trying to not remember my life and take time on something that just like disappears. And that's what we want in life. Not guys that are drinking away their anxiety and working jobs they hate, and then when they're not at work they're complaining about the job they hate, and it's just like, dude, when are you going to start living? Like so we have solutions for that, and looking at AZD, it's the best solution on earth if you consider that relationships with women is probably at the end of your goal list. Like you're doing everything you're doing so that you have good relationships with the women of your choice. They look the way you want, they act the way you want, they live the way you want, they're with you the way that you want. And it's not that you're trying to change anybody. It's just you have a way that you want, and you want someone that fits that. Like you want something, and women is definitely in it. And so AZD, as an example, look around, nobody's doing it better. There's some guys that have like lots of beautiful women, but like look at what they're doing, how they're doing it. Like we could talk about that's a different topic. So, if you really want this lifestyle, then of course you would study. You would be in the $97 class because that's just it's worth a month to know, like, are we bullshitting you? I mean, we're giving you a lot of free education with all these clips and then streaming and giving you the ideas, and we'd be doing wrong to not say sign up. I mean, improve. Even if I tried, I couldn't just like copy AZD and tell you exactly what he says. It wouldn't benefit you. It's him. It's like if I taught you how to dribble a basketball versus Michael Jordan taught you the same dribble. There's going to be something different about the world champ doing it, So I couldn't even give it away if I tried. So I'm just here streaming as a messenger saying, yeah, man, I don't know. You figured out. I've said it. You know what I'm saying. Brother, sounds good. Just came across this channel. Right on, right on, right on. Are you guys into pickup? You guys out there, have you studied pickup game? Is that something that you've come across, that you've looked into, maybe even bought coaching from? Or is that just like, what the hell is that? Pickup in game, like not even heard of it. And then back to Sultan, bases. So we got all these bases. They're all consolidating to Vegas. And we're leaving Saturday for Los Angeles with an event with AZD. And then Sunday night, we drive to Vegas into our new house. Woo. 2 years there, lease, and then keep on creating.
Well, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, always.
There's about 7 to 10 people in here, so 12.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions, type them out in the comments, and we'll probably answer them.
Yeah, you could even come live with us if you want, if you've been on for a little while. If we've seen you commenting and you've been on, you want to stream with us, and I know a lot more could be conveyed if we were talking. Okay, well, I guess we could wrap it up. We have open class with AZDs tomorrow, 10 a.m. Everybody, you're invited. If you're coming to these, you just got to DM us so we know you're real. Guys that don't have pictures on your profile, no profile pic. I mean, we're gonna have to somehow figure out if you're real. We can't just invite, faceless people. And part of this is becoming somebody. It's social media. You could be fake, you could be real, you could be whatever you want, but be somebody, be something. Don't just be a fucking ghost, an anomaly, some invisible entity.
There's a lot of those.
I'm real. I believe you're real because you're on. You just typed that. But like, where's your, we would have to know if you're a guy. So you'd probably have to FaceTime, and then we got to take time to FaceTime you just to know if you're real. Like, so I don't know, maybe start to build a social media presence, and you don't have to make it your life. Just, you're obviously here, you're learning. So this is worth it. And this is what we're saying you should do. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, everybody. I think you guys, got some value from this, and everybody's a little bit shy with their commenting. They're watching though. So, Sultan, you haven't brought it up too much. The basis with guys, I think, but you tell people that you live with AZD. I'm sure, like almost everybody knows that you live with the guy with the face tats, the player. Sure, sure. And we say it on all the streams. So anybody who's watching you or I on these channels knows we live with AZD, the guy that they followed this channel for. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's not him commenting. If you see comments, it's your comments, it's me on this page. It's not AZD commenting. So if you see me comment, or you see at AZD comment on your response, it's not AZD, it's me. So I guess like if you increase a messenger for him, so those comments are from me, not from ACD. Because some guys will respond like, "Yeah, man, I love your videos. I remember blah blah." Like, "Yeah, bro, it's not me." And then they'll say, "Bro, I love the video where you said it's like, bro, it's not me." You gotta say it like 4 times. So just to be clear, it's not ADD. The guy with the tattoos has a different Instagram. If you want to follow him, you should go on this Instagram in the bio, and his Instagram is right at the top.
It's a really good point, because, and why we push it is two reasons. One, we don't want you thinking we're trying to mislead you and acting like him, or somehow trying to influence you by allowing you to think that we're him. So just to be clear, that's why I'm like, I'm not the teacher. I'm not selling you on my class. I'm saying, hey, I'm pointing to the guy, and go to AZD's class. Then what Sultan said is very important. His bio, or his profile, is in the bio, and that's important because he's out there with his life. It's not hidden behind like just the same 10 or 12 posts that he's had up for like 3 years. That's a select photo of him in front of a car, him with a girl, him on a skyscraper, him with a cigar, him petting a dog, whatever. And it's just like, those are the photos. Like, he's prolifically posting because he actually has girlfriends that actually watch his Instagram. He's actually doing game actually through his Instagram. And you can look, it's a public profile. You can see how the top player runs Instagram. Just know that those are his women, and that is part of the behavior that keeps the women. It's not that they're junkies for Instagram and they have to see his Instagram. It's that, you can check in with a person's mindset when they're posting every 3 to 6 hours. Every 3 to 6 hours, every day, they have a post, and it's like you get a vibe for a meme or what they wrote or whatever of, oh, they're there. You know what I'm saying? And that's a testament to his consistency. Another testament to his consistency is every day, 10 a.m. for 4 or 5 years now. Lecture, like, doesn't miss. Sick, breakup, whatever's going on, family member. I mean, once or twice it has been canceled. So an email gets sent out, it's canceled. But okay, so, like, that's never missed, never late, consistency. And that's actually an ingredient to his success with game that people will overlook because it's difficult. That's where the philosopher goes, I know the truth, but I don't want that. You're not a philosopher, dude. You're just a dilettante. You're dabbling. You're toying with the idea. Your toes in the water. You're tickling a fancy, and then you run away like a little girl. Like that's all. I don't need to be consistent. I don't need to wake up. I don't need to sleep on the floor. I don't need to take cold showers. I don't need to watch what I eat. Man, I don't need to watch biohacking. I don't need to watch cosmic disclosure. I don't need to read that book or this book. I don't need to join AZD's class because I got it. I watched the clips. I've been watching for 8 years on YouTube. Man, you're dabbler. Dabbler. Dibble dabble. Okay. Let's see. No comments came in from that rant. Dude, I'm ranting the fucking God spirit to you guys, and you guys are just like sitting there watching. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you sharing your channel with me, Sultan, and we'll do it again tomorrow, probably before open class, I think. Yeah.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah, yeah. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, guys. Stay tuned. Os. All right. Thank you for attending this on Zoom and the stream to the channels. If you got something out of this, then leave a comment, share, and of course you could sign up in the description for the video